one time, if you're just coming in or you just came in a few minutes ago, please make sure that you sign in so we can make sure that we have your email address. My name is Chantal Shorter. I'm the Assistant Superintendent in Haddon Township. And then I also, in a few minutes, you'll be hearing from Dr. Fitzgerald, our Superintendent of Haddon Township. And then we have two of our kindergarten teachers, Sinead Royster and Amy Burns. Butler. We know them both, right? And in the back, we have one of our elementary school principals, Caroline Lunsford, Dr. Polano, and Mrs. Massey are both with their own children at board meetings tonight for their own children getting some recognition in their school district. So they wish they could be here. But just wanted to welcome you. So glad that we had such a great turnout for our incoming kindergarten class. So some of you have already registered at our kindergarten roundup, and you knew about this evening from that event or through the probably continuous pop-ups that you saw when you went to our website or on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, or the neighbor telling you, hey, did you hear? Now that if you didn't get any of those, and you're like, I just happened to find out, we have your email address, so now you will not be able to get rid of us. We are a partner together. So, but this is some of your, how many first-time parents in kindergarten, in Haddon Township? Oh, that's awesome. So you should really give yourselves a round of applause. You found your media center. So you made it here. Just sit back, relax. Hopefully you got a little snap. It will be a blink of an eye. It won't seem like it, but before your children will actually be in this middle school, so just enjoy the ride. You're going to be in phenomenal hands. I'm going to pass it off to Dr. Fitzgerald and then let you hear what you actually need to hear about kindergarten and how to start this path to our educational journey.
Welcome, my name is Robert Fitzgerald. I'm the superintendent of schools here in Haddon Township. This is my 5th year in the district as superintendent. It's my 10th year as a superintendent in the state of New Jersey. I love my job very much. The best thing about my job is the opportunity to work alongside such a hard-working and dedicated group of professionals. I will say that we're proud of our school district. And there's a phrase that we like to use, and the phrase is you're the magic of the work. And the adults that are going to be what we call the direct service providers for your children, our teachers, our school counselors, our nurses, our central office staff, the secretary, anyone that's going to interact with your child is extremely hardworking, extremely motivated, and extremely caring. So working alongside such a dedicated group makes my job both gratifying and very purposeful. So thank you very much for coming tonight. I'll tell you a little bit about our community. All those hands were raised as new parents in the district. Can you just raise those hands again? Wow, that's really amazing. That is the most we've ever had. Well, since you're all new parents, I'll tell you a little bit about the Haddon Township community that I have gotten the pleasure to know over the last 5 years. Okay. Parents and community members in Haddon Township are extremely dedicated, extremely involved in the education of their children. One of the best things about Haddon Township is our parents have a lot of energy. So anytime parents show up, it makes the school district's job a lot easier, and it makes the chances of a child's success increase by percentages. So you're part of a parent base that's very involved. One of the first things I would encourage you to do as a new parent is to get involved with the PTA. We have phenomenal volunteers on our PTA. There are 5 what we call neighborhood elementary schools. I could talk to you a little bit about how they're zoned in a second. You may have questions about that I'll take. But each elementary school has a PTA, and then there's a zone PTA, which is kind of links all the schools together. And they're coordinated, they make sure everything is connected, and we're very proud of that partnership that we have with the organization. We implemented a little bit different designed for school placement about 3 years ago now, because we were getting imbalances in class sizes. So formerly, the district was zoned in a way that if you lived on certain streets, you were automatically zoned at certain schools. Well, there was no way to predict, birth rates on each street, so that led to imbalances in class size. So, for example, we could have, 11 kids in a class in one school, and another school had, 24 kids in the same thing in the class. So what we did is we developed a little bit of a strategy where we assigned certain streets, we'll call them solid zone streets, that if you live in a solid zone street, chances are you're 1 or 2 blocks from a particular elementary school. So for example, if you live on Ivy Wood, that's a solid street for Story School. If you happen to live on Rhodes Avenue, that's what we call a dotted line street, and Rhodes Avenue can go to Story School or Van Sciver School, depending on our ability to balance class sizes. So it has led to more efficiency, it's led to balanced class sizes, and parents have accepted it really well. There's equity in it, and all 5 of our schools are high quality, so we really have implemented this with success. Tell you a little bit more about the district before I turn it over to Sinead and Amy, two high-performing, highly skilled, highly motivated teachers. We have a dedicated Board of Education. Our #1 priority in this school district is school safety. Right on that mission statement, or that vision statement on the wall there, it talks about the importance of all students being not only physically safe, but psychologically safe. And that begins by making sure every student has a sense of belonging and a sense of significance in our school district and that they're seen. We are currently in the midst of a $30 million referendum aimed at improvements across the district. Most of the focus is at this campus, the middle school, high school. Your children should reap the benefits of this. We are going to implement a brand new media center over the next 12 months, implementing an emergent technologies lab. We're going to bring back automotive for more emphasis on the trades. We are redoing our music rooms. Our auditorium is in good shape. But we get a lot of pride in the visual performing arts. There's going to be a new entrance for the auditorium. And there's a very strong connection in Haddon Township holistically between academics, the visual performing arts, athletics, and student leadership. It's an honor to greet you tonight. I'll be around for the duration of this evening. After the evening, if you have any questions, please feel free to introduce yourself. It's really a pleasure to meet you, and we take this very seriously. We work really hard for you and your children. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Sinead. Is that right? And thank you for
here. Hi, my name is Sinead Royster. This is my 23rd year of being an early childhood educator. 19 of those years have been here in Haddon Township. My full circle moment this year has been through my door, walked a former student that is now one of our colleagues. So I'm now teaching, it's not Amy, it's a compliment to you. So I'm now teaching with a student that I taught at Edison, which is pretty amazing. And I have had the privilege of teaching at all 5 schools in our district, and I currently teach in Van Sciver with Mrs. Butler at Van Sciver for inclusion.
I'm Amy. The joke is Burns Butler because I got married during COVID, right before COVID, never changed my name, but then already called myself Mrs. Butler, so now that's what the kids call me. So either way it works. I've been in district, this is my 12th year. I moved here from Mount Laurel because I loved teaching here so much, and when I had a family, I wanted them to go here. And now currently I'm with you guys. I'm an incoming kindergartner. I actually was just on maternity leave. I just had my 3rd boy in December. Literally been back 1 week, so bear with me.
Welcome.
He's not my thing. My maternity leave was actually Sinead's student. The sub was my student, was her student. think that's all it does. Because we taught inclusion. Inclusion, you probably since you're in the district, it just means that it's a classroom that has typical students and students that have an IEP. They're all mixed in. If you walked into our classroom, you'd have no idea which one was which. It's the best part of kindergarten.
So on behalf of us, I want to say thank you, because this really is a partnership, and we're on this journey with you. So you showing up tonight and being here and taking your date night, maybe somebody else putting the kids to bed, so we thank you for that. We hope that you get a little bit better image of what it's going to look like for your child come the fall.
We also, I just want to say, we taught half-day kindergarten together, and I've also led into the full day, so we were a little nervous, and now we can't say enough good things about it, so we're all excited for you guys to have it too. We just think this picture is the perfect example of kindergarten, because there he is, as intrigued as he can be in the bus, and hanging from a tree, quite literally.
So what is kindergarten? We're going to turn it over to, much cuter than us, our kindergartners to tell you what they think kindergarten is.
Kindergarten is a place that's fun. Make friends and it's fun. Kindergarten is a place to play.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten is fun to play tag. Kindergarten is wonderful because we like to play. Kindergarten is fun because I love places. Kindergarten is so nice because they help us learn. Kindergarten is great because I have great friends. Kindergarten is fun because we get to go. We get to go outside and eat. Kindergarten is lovely because it is fun.
We didn't tell you that.
Kindergarten is a place for climbing on the playground. Kindergarten is awesome because I like that. Kindergarten is the best because we get to make friends and learn.
I think the most important part of that is that they think they're playing. And they're all reading and doing math, and it's just wonderful. I think that's the most important part. Sorry, this is going to be the confusing part because I'm not sure how to turn from the video. Okay, so here's more examples of what is kindergarten. This is pictures of exactly what we're doing. These are pictures from across the district. All of our kindergarten teachers put pictures in our slideshow tonight so that you're not only seeing our classroom. You can see that there's pajama day, there's puppet shows going on. Some of the kids are playing with scarves and dancing and singing. We have a fanatic day down on the bottom. They're doing their own little turkey parade for Thanksgiving over here, painting with our hands, and just a cute picture of them being friends. I just think this is literally what kindergarten is.
So our goal is to teach the whole child. So academically, your child is going to learn to read, to write. They're going to learn social studies. They'll learn math, science, all of those things. To me, an even more important part is that social piece, learning self-regulation, learning how to win a game, how to lose a game, how to be a good friend. So all of those things is looking at the whole child, and that's really important to us as a team and across the district with all of our teachers. And helping them develop into a lifelong learner, because that's ultimately our goal.
Okay, let's start our day. We come in, we do arrival activities across the district. This is what starts our day. They come in, they'll sign in, they get to buy lunch this year if they want. They check in, decide, pick their lunch choice. They will unpack their backpacks. This is a time for us to work on self-help skills, taking off a jacket, putting on a jacket, zippering a jacket, buttoning a jacket. They offer breakfast at the schools, so that's something we're learning how to open breakfasts. That's a big one. Cleaning up our crumbs, another big one. It's student driven for the most part. They know the routine and they're expected, especially by this point, to kind of work their way through it. It's also an opportunity to just come in as like a soft opening, so they're not feeling the demands from minute one. They kind of understand this is a chance for them to talk a little bit, get to say hi to their peers, greet their teachers. It's just a wonderful way to get the day started.
So morning meeting is after arrival activities, and it really is our community building. So we come together on the carpet, and we are already off getting our group plan for the day. our schedules, a picture schedule. At the beginning of the year, we're reading it. By the end of the year, the children are reading it. It also gives them concepts of print of like where to start reading. We start at the top, we go left to right. Calendar, you can see one of our friends is there running it, so those are busy bees, so they're an integral part of everything in the classroom. In the beginning of the year, teachers write a message to the students. By the end of the year, the kindergartners take over the morning message and they're writing to their friends. It's also a time to highlight good choices that we see in the classroom, a time to get to know each other better through survey questions, as well as like problem solving. Like, oh, Johnny spilled his breakfast this morning. What could we do?
You can see one of our main problems.
Yeah. It's a real
Okay, literacy. They're going to leave kindergarten knowing how to read. It's really amazing what they can do. We do it through read-alouds. There's guided reading where the teacher is helping them. They independently read. They read pictures. There's many times a day that a child has a book in their hand. Again, you can kind of see in these pictures, they're all different ways that they're reading. These are partner reading. Down here, we had a fire set up for the holiday, and they were reading around the fire. There's beanbag readings. We did an ABC parade in the school after we learned every single letter. Each student was assigned a letter, decorated their vest, played ABC songs, and paraded around the school. Down here is a shared reading. There's a little child that he's actually reading the pages. I have a fun little video. There's a program we use called Foundations that has our phonics in it, and we teach it with a letter, a sound, and a motion, and so that the child is met however they learn best. They're using their visual cues, auditory, and they're actually moving their body. So here is an example of what that may look like. You'll hear lots of it. Oh no. Oh no.
Good. Ready for the next one?
She's saying, I don't know what she says, tea-topped. And you guys will all know these.
All right.
The little girl over here is showing that she has learned a way to know whether you're going to put a C or a K
Right over here.
with the vowels. So you guys probably don't know that. They'll teach you. There's a lot of rules.
I will also add to wherever your child is, whether they're able to read right now, whether they're learning their name, your teacher is going to meet your child where they're at. So we're giving you a full span of ability that's all within the range of norm, but where your child is where your child will be at. So I think that's important to know as well.
Also, we're in May, so keep that in mind. You're seeing all these things.
Go.
As far as writers, writing is one of the best things because they all of a sudden come from, I don't know how to write or I can draw a picture to, I'm a writer. And they see themselves as published authors. Like we'll say, who's the author of the story? And they'll say, I'm the author and the illustrator. So giving them that language, giving them exposure. Writing looks really different across the board. So in the beginning of the year, we're exploring different modalities. We're painting letters. We're rolling out letters with Play-Doh. Just doing shaving cream letters and numbers. So just keeping it fun, giving them that muscle memory practice, and then moving all the way to, where they're illustrators and they're learning how to add details because details add to their stories. All the way to when they're writing, and we talk about starting with the capital and adding in ghost spaces and punctuation. But the best part about it is that they start to believe in themselves that they're a writer. And this is one of my favorite pictures of our friend Max.
Yeah, he was so proud. We put together a video of, again, I want you to be there, it's May. So think about where your child is now and think about where they're going to end up come May next year. We could be using yours next year.
I like outside play. I like the swings. I like to play in kindergarten. I like play sets. I love kindergarten because I like learning. Like kindergarten. Do what? Like my class asked me I like my teacher to add. I like to add. I love.
If she didn't pause that long, it's not. Well, you can't read her, you can't hear her adorable voice either, but I hope you understand the idea. You can see that there's still some reversals, there's still some spelling, they're spelling it phonetically. Some of them are using resources around the classroom to spell, like play centers. They don't really know how to spell centers, but she's using the room to spell it. There's a lot of strategies that they're using in their writing. We use work centers as a chance, this is where they think they're playing, and it's really a teacher-directed chance for them to learn what they've been taught in the large group lesson and to practice the skills in a small group lesson. Some of them are independent, some are teacher-directed, some are directed with a paraprofessional, but as you can see, it all still kind of looks like play. It's not all paper to pencil, there's a lot of ways. There are paper to pencil days, but there's also a lot of play.
Work centers is just a hands-on opportunity for them to practice the skills that they have been taught.
Thanks for putting that in simpler terms.
Sure. I have more sleep, she hasn't been. As far as math, so in town, we use iReady in Haddon Township. I think the most important thing to realize is that math for us is hands-on and children learn best through play, and that's what we continue doing. So counting, writing numbers, adding, subtracting, simple word problems, introduction to money, things like that. They love numbers. They see themselves as mathematicians. We kiss our math brains. But throughout all the pictures, you'll see hands-on, active learning, and that's really important. And if the video works, you'll see, well, we bring that outdoors, and that's part of our fun too. The number line on the ground.
So she's saying 10 plus 1 is what? And they all yell 11, and then one of the children is jumping to number 11. So it's just another way to practice the skills. We don't just have to write 10 plus 1 is 11 and just know that it's 11. iReady also has a technology piece, which is really wonderful. So we all have iPads that we use during our work centers at times. That has games that, again, just reinforce the skills that we are taught during that time. The kids love it. Again, they think they're playing, but really they're relearning what they just learned.
And I'll add into that, work center time is great because we can level our groups to, if we have a child that's high achieving in math or, really struggles in math, we can give them that really direct instruction that they need during that time.
And their favorite part of the day, they get to go to lunch and recess. They eat in the big cafeteria. Seems scary. They all love it. Seems a little loud for us. They will have a PIN number if they want it at the beginning of the year. I think most teachers across district try to give us through September not to order lunch if possible because it's a little chaotic. But then they order as much as they want. They also get to go on the playground. It's a great time.
So play centers, you heard a lot of students talk about. Play centers is the gift of the full day. We never really had the opportunity to fully explore play centers as much as I wanted to. So play centers is a time for them to story tell with each other, to problem solve, to play. Their work is play, their work is playing and growing. You'll see right over here, they're creating art with just lots of different opportunities. Dramatic play changes throughout the year. Currently in our classroom, we have a flower shop. We had a pizza shop. It's just an opportunity for children to express themselves in a different way and interact with their peers.
There's also snack and outside time in all of them. It is a very long day for them. I know some parents are worried about it. They will have a chance to have snack in the morning before lunchtime, and we get outside as much as we can with the weather permitting. This week's been really rough. It is a time to recharge, socialize, express. We use the playground. We can play games outside. As you saw, we do math outside sometimes. So we really do try to get out there as much as we possibly can, and that's across district as well.
So in science, one thing I love about kindergartners, they love science. They have so many questions, so many things to explore. Our curriculum incorporates life, physical, and earth science sounds very, very mature, but we're talking about the weather, we're talking about animal habitats, we're talking about the world around them. Currently, we have caterpillars, we have another kindergarten classroom, Mrs. Stroll's class has bunnies, so there's lots of great things happening and exploring. Sometimes we'll even, utilize the town that we're in. We sometimes walk through Sadler's Woods and,
See the goats.
right, see the goats or take a full walk, just getting outside and letting them explore.
The social studies, you can read all the big words. That's basically, we want them to know that they're part of a community. We want them to know they're a proud American. We want them to know that there's rules they have to follow. You can see up at the top, one of the classes did a voting booth, since it was a voting year. We had the dentist come, a local dentist came in to talk dental health during February, I believe. The fire company comes to each of the schools, they do a whole presentation, they get to go through the fire trucks. We say our Pledge of Allegiance every day. It's really, yeah, it's just learning through. I was gonna say, I think our star of the week. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so, I got you. So we do start the week. That is where one child gets highlighted for the week. By far, I've been doing it every year for the past 23. It's one of my favorite things. You learn about each other. They learn similarities and differences, which is a good thing, and celebrating but more importantly, knowing that there's commonalities for everyone. And, parents get to come in the classroom and be a part of our school learning community, which is really nice. Field trips. Across the district, most kindergartens at least take 2. In the beginning of the year, we usually go to a farm or some sort of outdoor science-based curriculum class trip. One of our favorites is linked to our writing. You'll see the top left there, how to make pizza. So one of the local pizza stores lets us come in. Using our community to help our students is great. You go into the library, getting library cards, all of those things are part of our field trip and being in a community within Haddon Township and beyond.
They will go to special. We have gym or phys ed, which is always there for sure. They go to Spanish. They have art, they have music, and they actually have media as well, which is separate than library. Media is a media specialist comes in and actually teaches them more specific things about the book and the library in general. It's really awesome. They love going to specials every single day. Okay.
Play gives,
Go ahead.
sorry,
Yeah. I already talked.
one of my favorite, we've been saying it over and over, play gives children a chance to practice what they are learning, and that is really important for their growth and their love of learning. This is from our friend, Mrs. V, over at Stoy, and this is what her friend said that they learned this
She
year.
asked what they learned. Yep.
In school this year, we made new friends. In this year kindergarten, I learned how to make pictures with shapes. In kindergarten, I learned math like FH. We both made how-to books. In kindergarten this year, I learned 2 books. I learned Spanish. I learned how to pronounce music in kindergarten. I used bears to learn that. In kindergarten, I learned
Luckily, Mrs. B's better at technology.
I learned how to read books.
See you guys. Are we open to questions?
Yes,
Okay.
any questions that you may have.
What are the class sizes?
Class sizes?
That's a great question, because there is a phenomenon. Maybe this won't be true this year. There's a strong tradition in Haddon Township for incoming kindergarten parents that you have a nice dedicated group that registers early, that shows up at an event like this, and then there's a steady, can you check that out?
Yeah, she's in there.
Yeah. And then there's usually a steady climb of enrollment till about mid-July. And then we generally have class sizes at about 18, 19. And then the 5 days before Labor Day, there's this sudden influx of families that seems to show up at the board office, and we have not cracked the code on how to get them in to register earlier. So I don't know what the class sizes will be, but I will tell you this. Last year, we hired what I'll call now is an extra kindergarten teacher because we had an influx of families at the very end of the summer. That extra teacher is leaving that individual in the budget for next year in preparation of the same thing. We do have birth rates from the Camden County Department of Health for Haddon Township, and it appears that they're increasing. But the way that they are categorized, it's January 1 to December 31st, so I don't exactly know what the birth rate is in July. I think it's pretty safe to say, like we did at this point for class size ballpark, let's just see where it goes. Yes, ma'am.
Is it definitely full day kindergarten?
Yes, it is. That's secure. I should have led with that. This will be the third year that we have transitioned to a full-day kindergarten. It's been an amazing success because of the work of our teachers. You know, this was something that, as strong as the parents desired full-day kindergarten, our teachers were also desiring this connection, this longer time with the students. And it's not, you know, it's a developmentally appropriate full day with a license. And our former program was good, but this puts your child with a professionally certified teacher for the full day. So it's been a tremendous success, and there's no interest in moving away.
And I just wanted to add that all of the kindergarten teachers are exceptionally passionate about their students. I remember when we said we were going to full-day kindergarten, I believe it was Sinead and Amy sat and poured through every single item that needed to be ordered for the students to learn through play. And as we navigated, I'm like, can we do this one instead of this one? They're like, no, Sean's out. We have to do this one because of this reason. And it has been an amazing experience. I've seen it firsthand in all the kindergarten classrooms. They've learned so much through the full-day program that we're super proud of all of the teachers.
I'll put Sinead, I'll tell a fast Sinead story, because I remember this, like you just said, time flies. The older you get, like the faster it goes, but certain things stay with you. So when I first got to the district, I was coming in, it was during COVID, and I scheduled a one-on-one meeting with every teacher, with every staff member, and I always asked the question. The last question I asked was, you know, how can I make your job easier, right? That's the goal of a leader. How can I make your job easier? And to me, I remember, did not hesitate, well, we got to go to full-day kindergarten. And I'm like, all right, I want to work on that. And then, like, the next couple of weeks, I'm in the school, and Elaine's like, hey, you working on that? Where do you stay with that?
I'm persistent.
Oh, yeah. How's it gonna go, right? So, we got here, and we're happy to cover this.
Yeah, that's probably why we get along so well, Shane. I'm not bossy either, I can say, like.
She just has better opinions.
No, my mom actually told me the other day, she's like, you're bossy, she lives with us, I'm like, I'm not bossy, I just know what you should be doing. Like, that's a sign, you should get one first time. We get it done.
What time is kindergarten? Start to finish?
For kindergarten, 8:40 is the actual start time, but if you're there 8:30, I think that's better.
To 3:10.
8:30, plan on 8:30. 8:40 to 1.
Is that the same start time as the rest of the building?
Yes.
And that each school has, you know, a procedure of how the students line up and get to their first class, but some students may have, you know, reading first thing in the morning or a special, so 8:40 is really the start of the day. They are into their learning at that time, so we recommend, you know, to be on time, to be early, and to get there, and so we can get the day going.
It's custom.
Is there a kindergarten screener?
No.
So, no, there's,
Not been through.
no, there's an assessment that our interventionist will do, our reading team will do, so that we try to do some ahead of time to save the teachers time. So whether that's before school starts or when school starts, just to see where your child is starting, so that we know where they're starting and have that baseline and then go from there.
But that's a great question, but our philosophy is it's not your, sometimes with those screeners, unintended consequence is that your child needs to be ready for kindergarten. Okay? It's not your child's job to be ready for kindergarten, it's our job to be ready for your child. So we'll get some information about that, but it's not a test, for your child, it's a test. Just gotta.
No, it's just a baseline. And that question comes up every year. What do you need to do to get your child ready? Enjoy the summer, read if you know, like just for fun. If you're still working on like potty training or anything like that, finish that, but just enjoy it. We will meet them wherever they are when they get here. You do not have to take on the role of teacher and, you know, make sure that they're prepared for all of the lessons that we are actually preparing for them. You're next.
So is it one kindergarten class per school, or there's two in Van Skyver? And let me tack on to that. When do those in the dotted line district find out what school they'll go to?
Yes.
When we change that, right? August, middle of August?
It's usually mid to late August.
Middle of August, yeah. Two, in a perfect world, what we're organized for right now is 2 at Strawbridge, 2 at Van Skyver, 1 at Stoy, 1 at Jennings, 1 at Edison. That's what we're organized for. If we have this kind of crazy influx, we could probably get to in the other buildings, but that's what we're organized for right now.
Speaking of kindergarten readiness, kids who are in the full day pre-K now at Haddon Township,
Yeah.
do like the kindergarten teachers get any information from the full day pre-K teachers?
Yes.
You do, okay.
Teachers talk.
Yeah, usually, and
They have a file.
we would touch base with first grade. It's
Yeah.
just colleagues coming together and saying, like, Johnny does really great with this. He might need a little help with this. Look out for this. So we are in communication as a team with the building.
Great, yeah, because some of us, this is going to be our 3rd year in the district, so it's like we've made like huge strides and we kind of have some of the sauce figured out,
Yeah.
so it'll help you guys too.
Yes, sir.
Specific to Jennings, how does the drop-off work since it's multi-floors? Is kindergarten on the first floor, or they escorted to?
Outside, there'll be adults outside that first day of school. That's another thing, for kindergarten, parents used to come into the school that first day. Now parents do not access the interior of the school. That's a security thing, the world has changed. So we'll have plenty of adults outside, especially that first day. But we'll be prepared for a walking drop-off at Jennings. And also, there's also buses that go to Jennings, West Cottage Lakes and the extension. We'll be busing students to Jennings, but it's a lot of parent drop-off in a car, and we'll have adults out there that will help out.
Can I add to that, Dr. Bob? So that first day is a regular day, but the day before, you will have an opportunity to come in small groups, and you'll get more information from your school. So you'll get a time slot to bring your child in, you'll get to see the room, you can put away some supplies, but it gives us an opportunity to touch base with your child, so they've seen us, and mommy knows who that person is, and dad. So the first day of school, the transition should be a little bit easier than just us tearing them out.
Now, I'm confident 4 out of 5, it's going to be pretty smooth the first day of school. Now, who thinks that they're Van Skyver solid line, solid zone? So they have legs, I think, okay. So I have to tell you, okay, we are dramatically improving the entrance at Van Skyver in terms of the traffic flow. So right now, there's not enough parking for staff, there's not enough parking for parents. Our buses do not load in the bus lane. Drop-off pickup is, when you picture the worst airport that you experienced with, and that's what we currently have at Van Skyver. The road is not in good condition. That's all changing. Okay, we're adding, I think, about 30 parking spots at Van Skyver. On one side, we're losing about the same amount of parking spots in front of the school. Rose Avenue is going to be completely resurfaced and widened. A couple telephone poles are going to be moved. And it will be a two-way kind of drop-off, pick-up. Buses will be dedicated in that bus lane, which will park on the other side of the building. So it's going to be dramatically improved. The catch is, we're not going to start this work until the day after the last day of school. The goalpost is the first day, but it's construction, right? No plans are guys, and pushing with reality. So just, you have to be patient with us. I'll stay in touch with you over the summer if there are delays and we'll take some plans to be ready for that. Yes, sir.
Is there before and after care for the elementary schools?
Yes, we are going to have before care and after care for next year. No price increase, it's flat across the board for all 5 schools, and it's a service to you. I think it's an important service, it's one that we're having all the time.
Great, thank you.
What would registration be for that, for before and after care?
Anytime.
We
Right,
don't
you
turn
can register
anybody
at
away. We don't turn
anytime.
anybody away
Yeah.
for that.
And additional information will be in your letter when you receive your replacement, but it's, you know, a flexible system so that you have care, they're safe and they're cared for until you get to pick them up.
Just straw poll, how many parents speak will you before care? Wow, okay. So that's interesting, right? Because it's not a highly utilized service right now, right? So it's good to see that you're going to be participating, it helps you justify this, they have cover there. It's good. It's tough for before care. Sometimes I'll have a supervisor there and then only 2 students will show up. And you get a little pushback on that, you know, because we don't have the enrollment, how do we justify the position? But better enrollment, you know, justifies that service.
If you are not on the dotted line, are you definitely in the school that I guess you're supposed to be in? Like, we're right by Edison, but when we, Utica, but the other side of the tracks, going in.
I'm pretty sure that's probably a solid zone, but you can go on a map. We have this on the website. You say school assignments, you can kind of click on, put your address in, and you should be able to see if you're solid.
When we registered, they said we might not be there.
You might not
We
be.
might not be at Edison.
Oh, really? Oh, it must be dotted down. Who did you register with?
Or I'm gonna do the line in January.
Like so Alexis?
Yeah.
Sounds like you're probably dotted because Alexis she does this all the time, so she's pretty well versed. So do we Edison's right. Yeah, Edison only shares with Starbridge. Story shares with Van Skyver. And there's a section of Stoy, there's a section of Holmes, Belmont Avenue, that section across from Acme. That could go Strawbridge or Stoy. Strawbridge or Stoy. So Stoy School is the only one that can be split 3 ways.
Would the extension still go to Skyber?
The extension goes to Jennings and Van Skyver.
Do you know where like that cutoff is?
It's an enrollment thing. We're not going to split those kids, so if we're sending kindergarten from the extension to Van Skyver, we're sending all the kindergarten kids from the extension to Van Skyver. Same thing with West College Heights. We're not going to split the small neighborhoods. We're going to go together as far as that goes now. Which is the most important. Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us more about this whole breakfast and lunch situation?
Well, breakfast is offered, I forgot the prices, $2-ish. I think it was like $2. Yeah, not expensive. They supply breakfast each morning if you want. I believe if they're in before care, they get it as an option. It's not mandatory. They order it the day ahead. We actually didn't start this till mid-year because it's a little crazy also. They order it ahead of time the day before, so it's prepared for them in the morning. It's usually a packaged something, or an apple or banana, things like that. But it is available. And then lunch is in the cafeteria. It's just like the big kids would do and how you remember it growing up, that you go through a line and they have a PIN number that I actually think the kindergarten teachers, the aides have the PIN numbers, the kids don't have to remember it. But they'll learn what they love and they buy those things, and sometimes they just pack every day.
So we made a change, we did make a change a couple years ago for food services, and we're very pleased with Winston's. The name of the company is Winston's Food Services. We had a different provider a few years before that. One of the best things about Winston's is they're very open and they're constantly soliciting feedback from students and parents. There's a commitment to healthier school lunches. Our cafeteria manager, Sophia Zoyce, has an email. She put out a survey just recently. She's very approachable. If you're looking for like, hey, we would put 3 options or non-dairy or things like this. She's a great listener and she's very creative. So we're very pleased with our cafeteria services. We would like more student participation, but we're pleased with that.
So how many teachers are in the classroom? There's a class of, say, 22.
1 teacher, 1 aide. Sometimes there's 2 aides. If the class is special education, you'll have, class of special education, you have 2 teachers and 1 aide. So I would say between 2 and 3 adults are in the classroom.
Once they're assigned to school, they locked in for the 5th grade?
Yes. Yes, well, siblings is grandfathered in, so they're locked in one way. We're not going to move them, right? Once we assign them, like, we're not going to move them. There's an asterisk, I'll tell you about my asterisk there in a second. But if you request a leave, okay, we consider that during the summer. If you have like a child care provider on the other side of town, you know, all child care, your babysitter, you know, if you request a move, we consider that on a case-by-case basis. Siblings are absolutely grandfathered in, so you have an older one. So, yeah, we're not going to split the kids. We're not going to split the kids. Now, there may be a situation for if an older sibling attends advanced Skyward School because there's a special service there, the younger, that neighborhood, the younger sibling will be able to attend advanced Skyward if they want to attend. You have to live in the Edison neighborhood. You request them to be split, we'll split them, but we'll have to, accommodate families to make sure the kids in the same school have better conditions. Okay, here's the asterisk. This probably won't be popular in this room, but we have to look at it. I don't know where it's going to land, and we looked at it a couple of years ago, we didn't really with it. We are going to be examining a potential grade level reconfiguration for 26, 27. I don't anticipate that any schools will close, but we are kind of tinkering around this idea of implementing an early childhood center. Most likely, early childhood center would be to have all the kids that are in grades K and 1 in the same building. Knowing what I know about our buildings, the only kind of candidate for that would be Van Sciver, in my opinion, because it's the only school that is 1 story. I don't know what the rest of the district configuration could look like from there. There's going to be various combinations and permutations that we'll probably study throughout the year. We looked at this before, we didn't move forward. We're going to look at it again just for efficiency purposes. We really kind of stopped when we considered a lot of the transportation challenges around the reconfiguration. Educationally, I think it works. We got a lot of pushback from parents who want to walk to school, walk their kids to school. But I don't see many parents, to be honest with you, walking their kids to school. Transportation, that's going to present some logistics. I don't want to say we're definitely going in that direction, but since you asked the question, you're locked in. Yeah, you're locked in unless we change configurations. Yeah. What's that, 26, 27? Yeah. No. I don't think, but it could talk, I don't think Van Sciver is large enough for pre-K, KN1. And there's a lot of ideas for pre-K in terms of, leaving pre-K where it is or opting into the state program. The state has a preschool incentive program that you could work with community providers. It doesn't even have to be within the boundaries of that township. You could be looking at a shared service for pre-K down the road with one of the other local school districts that we border on. Pre-K is changing. I live in the town of Pittman. Pittman recently closed an elementary school, and Elm Township opened up a pre-K in Pittman, right? So that means there are lots of new students from Elm to Pittman. So there's a lot of mobility around pre-K, and I don't want pre-K hitched. My own opinion, I mean, that has to be studied. But I think it could be a mistake to hitch pre-K to one building, because then we're going to be jammed up K to 5. But we're going to look at it. Yes, ma'am.
What does communication with teachers look like? I'm at preschool now where we have an app, so is there something similar or? Yeah.
Same. Or something like that.
There's
There's
definitely
different apps to use.
open communication, but I think it depends on your classroom teacher. We actually use
We use
Seesaw, but
Seesaw.
some people use Remind or other forms.
And that's like updates throughout the day or like end of the day or what you work
What
on
we
that week?
remember?
Yeah.
Every
My kid
teacher is
remembers
different.
them.
I mean, it's not gonna probably be the level of
Yeah.
preschool that you have.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where you are in preschool, but, we try to put some kind of newsletter together, I would say, across district. Either a newsletter, use Seesaw, Dojo, I think somebody uses, like, there's different apps and things to send pictures and things that way. But as far as email and the direct back and forth communication, that's always open.
I think administratively, we ask the teachers, if you have a telephone message to the teacher, we ask that you receive a call back 24 to 36 hours on the phone. For email, you've got to allow 48 to 72, just because our teachers are receiving so many emails, not only from parents, but just our, all of us are receiving so many emails that it used to be 48 hours, now we're getting asking for 72. I mean, the amount of email that everyone in this world is receiving it's hard to keep up with, especially if you're teaching all day. Like,
Yeah, I would say don't expect the idea.
Yeah.
Could you please remind me about attendance, excuse absences, unexcused absences?
I think we have a great, I think we nailed it. We changed it this year. The policy is, again, on our website. The change was, don't let it throw you, right? Because anything without a doctor's note is going to be coded as an unexcused absence, okay? But the reason that shouldn't concern you is people giving 20, right? I think we're giving 20 or 21 unexcused absences before, like, there's a level of concern. So, it may be 16, but I think it's somewhere between 16 and 21. So with a doctor's note, it's excused, okay? But total absences could be an issue, has been an issue for us if the child is not meeting grade level expectations, whether it's kindergarten or third grade. Whether it's unexcused or excused absences, the thing that we look at is a combination of total absences and impact on grade level readiness for the following year, and then we look at the birthday, you know. And we have a summer school program to help kids catch up. We're generally very good with absences at the elementary level, as long as the parents communicating with us what's going on.
And the only thing I would also want to add to that is just parties. So just to be mindful of that. You might think, oh, I'm getting my child to school each day, but if each day the child is late, which is not typical, but just keep in mind, oh, my child may be missing MAC every day. So if a child is late every day, you are going to miss that same thing every day, which is going to affect Mass Tier standards. We don't typically have that issue, but just keep that in mind. It is a transition year. I know it's, difficult sometimes to get that routine in place, but just keep that in mind as well.
I think we're pretty lenient on that compared to some other places. I mean, if you're taking a vacation, during the school year, those flights may be lower, or work in the evening, take the vacations, communicate with us ahead of time. I have to code them as unexcused, this is state policy. We're not going to hold that against you as long as your absences, the total number of students absences isn't exceeded a very high amount. Yes, sir.
The aftercare, two questions. How late does that run until, and is it just the kindergartners, or is the aftercare just a bunch of different levels of kids all in one place?
Yeah, we go up until 5th grade. It starts to, the older the kids get, the less number that is there, right? So and until 6 o'clock.
But are they all together in one place or?
No, they're grouped, but the band, I think pre-K and K, I think they're together, but they are banded. There's bands of students.
Got it.
When is the first day of school?
First day of school, school calendar's on the
Let us have the
website.
summer.
After Labor Day, except for Labor Day, so Wednesday after Labor Day.
So would that mean like the orientation day is the day before that?
Yes.
But not Labor Day?
No.
Like the whatever the Wednesday is?
You'll get a meet and greet information. It's broken down by last name, and it'll give you an opportunity to kind of just take your time to go in and get a feel for the classroom.
And the meet and greet day, is that during the school day?
The day before.
Yes.
I'm teacher mom, so
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, so on your teacher day. On your teacher day, I'm gonna come yes.
The good news is it's very short.
I was gonna say it's literally.
So you might just be able to pop in
Yeah.
for 10 minutes just to say hello, get a feel for the classroom and let your child to, you know, take a look.
Bring your child. Our nurses do a really good job with that. The short answer is yes, but if there's an issue in the class, or if there's an issue at the table or in this area that we have to make provisions to protect that individual child. But there's no ban on
Drop off 8:30. We'll have a kindergartner, advanced driver, preschool, and another building.
Dan Skyler and I think it's 8:20, they kind of line them up outside, if that makes you feel better. Or worse.
Make sure everyone gets.
There's teachers out there and everything like that at 8:20.
And those, whether it's a drop off or a pickup, those, that's one of those areas of open communication. So as long as you let the principal or the teacher know, like that's not something where your child's gonna be marked tardy because they know you're coming from one school over to the other. We just need to be able to know that they're en route and we know that that's gonna be your daily routine.
Are you the solid zone and transfer?
Yes, but I wanted anyone in preschool and that is on.
I just had a question on the buses. Are they all the age one school in a bus? Or is it all one school in one bus and then they go?
No.
Is it age?
We have a bus, the transportation's not done for next year, but we have a bus of West Comprehensive Extension because those neighborhoods are split between Jennings and Van Skyward, they're all bused. That bus would stop first at Jennings on the way to school and second at Van Skyver. And then on the way home, that bus will load at Van Skyver and then potentially load at Jennings and then go home.
So it's all the kids in one bus for both schools?
Could be.
Okay.
It could be. Yeah. Again, these are things of the past that maybe weren't always that way, but just for efficiency purposes because cost is, you know, such a difficult position with our budget. It's a whole different parent night, right? So we have to look for ways to become more efficient. It's really a pleasure meeting you all. It's a great group of parents. I'm sure that your children will be the same, right? It's always tree-free, and usually when there's such an energetic group of parents, with the children will be similar. So, you know, thank you for trusting us with your children. Thank you for moving them to happen, and we look forward to meeting you.
And again, I just want to thank everyone. I want to thank the teachers. I want to thank Ms. Lunsford. Jimmy Hecker is back there on the recording. He is also a volunteer fireman, so you might see him around, you know, doing some community service and things, or coming to help me when the alarm goes off at the board office. And thank Dr. Pizzacaro. And just a reminder, please make sure you sign in so we have your email address so that you can make sure you get all future information, grab a snack, water, and we're around if you have questions.
The one thing that wasn't asked, because the school lunches, nobody asked about snack. Caroline, how does snack work in kindergarten?
So snack is available for purchase after all the lunches have been served. So it is
So-
available to kindergartners if there is money on their account or if there is money sent in.
So that's a tricky one, because it's lunch and then recess still, right? Kindergarten, Right?
Mhm.
So then there's another class that comes in for lunch, right?
Correct.
So one of the challenges on the lunch snack, you know where this is going, it's like a 25-minute lunch period, a half-hour lunch period, is
Half hour.
the lunch, eating the lunch, and then going, and then especially when it's ice cream, right? You know, it takes them a long time to finish it, and so, you know, that is something that,
Not always enough time for
yeah,
both.
not always enough time, so just be prepared for that one. We pride ourselves on communication, so if you have any questions, again, we're going to hang out tonight, but as things come up during the school year, start with the teacher, then email the principal, certainly give access to me as your superintendent. We are a small school district, we are a small but energetic, involved community. If you have a question, the worst place to go is Facebook, okay? The best place to go is to the person that actually knows the situation, that's usually the classroom teacher. It might be the secretary, the person who answers the phone. Our school secretaries, they know what's happening, right? If you're unable to get the answer, just keep looking your way up. And I agree with excessive. So thank you so much.
Thank you.